G'day guys, Josh here, trying out some Skybox, hashtag ad by the way. So we got the top tier version of Skybox, you can see it here, we got top tier version. So we got tier 1 here as well. This is if you're a top tier team, you'll probably need this. If you're a tier 2 EU, you probably need this, and tier 3 if you need this as well. And you also can get it for yourself as well. Very, very cheap, 6 EU a month, probably 2 coffees at least in Australia, maybe. Anyways, let's get on to what this bad boy can show off. So obviously, if you guys don't know, I'm co-streaming the Team Liquid versus Spirit game. So we want to highlight, how Spirit is going to go against Team Liquid, in particular, what vetoes we should expect. Now, the veto so far has been Anubis, Dust 2, and I forget the third map, but it doesn't really matter. So veto simulation, what it does, it looks at the better maps for both Team Liquid and Spirit. So you can see here that, actually we've got to switch to teams because the teams are incorrect. Because obviously Liquid is Team B in this situation, not Team A. So we switch to teams here as well. We got the expected Anubis, we got the expected Dust 2 as well. And we got Mirage as the decider from these matches in particular. So basically overall, this veto is kind of like a pre-veto setup where you're like, okay, what sort of maps are we going to get? What sort of maps we expect as well? And what other things could turn around as well. So from Team Liquid's perspective here as well, they can see that they could get an Ancient, a Mirage ban instead, probably a 7% differential, where like if they ban something else, it pops up. And obviously, I think Spirit banned Nuke this time. And then basically the next ban obviously is Mirage from Liquid. So what we can do here is we can switch around the vetoes to match up to what actually happened and whatnot as well. And by switching up that veto, you can see here now Nuke and Ancient's basically a coin flip. And they put it onto Ancient in the end. Like, with their bans and whatnot. So we got the vetoes here that they have. Now, you may be thinking, okay, how do we prepare for this stuff? How do we get a game plan for this veto and behind this veto as well? So we go to the match prep. So you can see here, I've already done a few analyses as well of previous maps. You can see here, Vitality, Gamer Legion, and Veto and Inferno and whatnot as well. So let's just go into one of these. So let's say we go into one of these for Gamer Legion with Inferno. We need to find out which players play where, basically, as well. So we can see here, Torsen's a half lurking player. We can also get rid of Andu as well. We can eliminate him. Now, obviously, if he's a lurk, that means he can be a lurk as well. And you can see here, overall, that Flamus is a lurk player. Overall, you can see from Gamer Legion's Inferno, they've got a lot of players that are just wandering around and lurking and just getting info before they hit sites. Now, also as well, you can use a tactical read. So the tactical reads options will tell you what sort of strategies they've been doing. You can even put it to last month as well. So you can see what sort of buys and stuff like that you'll be facing and what sort of executes they do as well. So you can say in pistol and pistol, most of the time they go to A. And a lot of other times they go to not available. They just basically hit either side. And then also half of a full buy. If they got a half buy, they'll go most likely to B to try and bust it open. And most full and half buys, they go to the A site and obviously make late switches around. Now, overall, you can see here that Gamer Legion make a lot of switches on their executes. So you got to be very, very aware that Gamer Legion make a lot of switches on their executes more than normal. So this double green sign means they do it a lot more than these other teams up here. So when you compare it to G2, FaZe, Mouse, Spirit, and Vitality, they do it a lot. Now, you can look at the bomb site tempo as well. So you can see here that a Gamer Legion like to use their time, okay? So you can see a lot of mid-round calls, no rushes, very few set strats or anything like that. They like to buy their time. Now you can also see their defaults as well. They have a very heavy B default compared to most teams, and then have a less likely default. You can actually check all these defaults. This will view it in the 2D player of that default being used against a team. They also have the A from short motor strike. So basically what they use in pistol rounds. So pistol rounds are very, very important. So overall, the A hit would be just a motor smoke and then just pop in via apartments or via short and see how it goes. Now you can see a full buy via full buy. What sites they usually do. They have a lot more motor smokes A short. So that basically they go from the short side instead of the long side instead. And just basically trying to hit the site. Now, B execute, they also do a B execute with the CT and coffin smoke, which is pretty standard default smoke. And the last one is just the B execute with the CT smoke and just start bullying coffins as well. Now, against obviously an anti-eco, they use the B execute a lot more and the A short execute a lot more. So it seems like they've really got only 2 executes on the side. So you need to make sure the A players are aware they can be a short smoke from Moto, also a B execute with the CT smokes, which the B side player should be already aware of anyway, because that's the only way you get to the B side. Now you can see here as well on the CT side as well, on not CT side, they are good at pistols. They win 100% of their pistol rounds, which is quite crazy for a team. And also as well, the utility damage on Inferno is better than average on the T side, which we did see, funnily enough, in their games on Inferno. Now as well, you can also go to the CT side as well, and you can also dictate their CT positions upon the death. So you can say, Flammus is an A anchor, so if you have Flammus dying, and he's on the B, and he's not on the A anchor, or he's on the B banana, or anything like that in particular, you could be like, hang on, that's his usual position. But if he dies elsewhere, you're like, well, the A anchor's gone. That means it could be a full rotate. Now, if you kill Slen, for example, it's just like, well, Slen's an AWPer, he'll just play either side. Now, Volt, if you take out Volt, it means you've clipped the rotations, most likely. And if you clip Andu, you may most likely clip the rotation. Now, if you take out the Banana and the ZTR, if you take out these 2 players, you may think that B side's going to be completely open because that's both B side defenders dead. And now you can also see as well their openings on pistols and full buys and whatnot as well. So normally CTs have default openings, whether it's a 4 on A, 1 on B, which they do a lot in their pistol rounds, and they have the 3A, 2B, and the 2A, 3B as well, which is the other pistol round as well. There's not too many openings in particular as well. The 3A is when your A player starts at rotates and then switches to A towards the late round. And you can see here that with a full buy v full buy, they're a 3A, 2B team, and I think this is generally used a lot less, the 2A, 3B, mainly on rounds where they're not performing so great on the B side. And you can see here that Gamer Legion is not that great on their CT side, so the CT side is actually a big weakness on Inferno compared to others. And you can see here that the flash assists are pretty bad, and opening kill ratio on CT side Inferno is pretty bad as well. Now let's see one of these 2D replays. We're going to show off the next one. It's going to be the 2D replay. So essentially what's going to happen is this is going to generate a typical pistol round for Gamer Legion on a 2D replayer of the 4A1B opening. You can select all the different openings here as well, what they do, and you just press it here, and you can see basically the sides of the versing Passion UA, funnily enough. On the Inferno CT side, you can see here basically all the players firing and how this default actually goes. So this is obviously a heavy A default. So this is a not too much used default from Gamer Legion, because generally they're heavy B default instead. So we'll continue to keep going as well, because we're trying to get a certain execute. As you can see here, Chiller gets an opening kill, traded out 1 for 1. You can see the kill feed up here as well. You can see all the utility and stuff on the right hand screen as well. So you can see their pistol rounds, you can see points where they get apt control. So basically for this round in particular, they get the Moto Smoke, which is going to go down here, and they get an Apartments Burst basically onto the site. And you can see here that it doesn't go well at all. They just get basically bullied and pushed around, and that's practically the end of the round, unless they perform some miracles here, which unlikely they do not, and they lose the round. So you can get that information on how they do it and how they set up for it, like, how many go into an apartment, how many go through middle and whatnot as well on the pistol rounds. So you'll definitely be well aware of it. Now, next up is the playbook. So overall, their playbook, you can dictate all their plays that they do and what sort of stuff that they do on certain rounds. So, for example, you got Astralis here for, a team. You can put in Team Liquid and whatnot as well, or Liquid, and ascertain what they're going to do on the next map. Because this is after map 1 after Nubis, as they lost. We can go to Dust 2, and we can see, what Liquid executes that they normally do. They do the A short execute more than most teams. And they do A long and A from short without, an execute. Very, very little. So you can look here as well to see what sort of executes they have. You can also see what they want to map control a lot more of, basically being the T mid control. And you can see here that a lot of the Dust 2, they don't have a lot of map control to begin with compared to other teams, as you can see here. Like, a lot of the utility is very, very low. But, there's a few other parts that are very, very high. You can ascertain what sort of things you're going to be expecting. So overall, you should expect a mid control. Lower tunnels control, probably not as often. Short control and long control, not so open as well. So pretty much the execute will be everything going at you from Team Liquid. Last but not least is the pattern finder. So we've gone through the playbook, the match prep. The match prep has a lot of the player stats and team stats as well. Now we're going to go through the pattern finder. So what the pattern finder is, it basically dictates who's throwing what nades and where do they throw them. So essentially you can find out, like, which player is throwing this nade, and you can ascertain, depending on the flash and the smoke and the thing being set up, is who's throwing it and who's at that position at that time, to give us some extra info on what's going on. So you can toggle all the nades on and off. So if you don't want to know what a HE is, because sometimes people chuck HEs or whatever, or you don't want to know what a decoy is, just in case people do throw a decoy, as you can see here, and you want to focus on a certain play, you want to focus the nades that, let's say, your Kinder throws. So you want to know all the nades that your Kinder throws. So generally the A long smoke is from your Kinder. A long smoke is generally from your Kinder. So you can see here, all these smokes being thrown here, that is from your Kinder. And your Kinder does throw the flashes going into A long for a long take. You also throw the flashes going to lower tunnels, and also the flashes onto the B side as well. So generally, if you're going for long control, any sort of flashes coming out are most likely going to be from your Kinder. So you know that your Kinder is around this area in general. Now, obviously as well, you can see Ultimate throws a few nades, and this gets really nearly very, very quickly. Now let's see if we can see where JKS throws his nades. So JKS generally is throwing the nades on the B side. He throws a lot of Molotovs as well. You may have noticed that your Kinder doesn't throw any of the mollies. But you can also see as well that other than your Kinder, JKS does throw a lot of flashes to this long area in particular, and he does throw a few smokes down here as well. So Team Liquid, what they've done is that they have multiple players doing this. So Spirit can't guess who this player is, okay? They can't guess who this player is down here because everyone does those flashes and everyone does those smokes in particular. Now, looking at the player stats as well, so this is more of a personal thing as well, you can see like their performances, the HLTV rating, what they are good compared to the comparison, and their performance overall. And you also can check, Dust 2, what role they played, the ADR they have, and whatnot as well. Team stats, it's probably more detailed overall. And you can see the ratings that they have on the T side. You can see Liquid's T side is not that great, and Liquid's CT side isn't that great on Dust 2 either. But yeah, as I said, guys, this has a lot of information. This is effectively your Google for CS2 demos, where it will dig into the maps, find all these executes, like specifically an execute, and it'll give them all to you. It also gives all the strategies that Liquid have used in previous demos to you at your fingertips, and also gives all the roles of the players at you to your fingertips as well, so you can make educated guesses or educated calls depending on where the sites could go. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. And I think either way, if you're a fledgling team, you may want to buy a monthly or even a yearly subscription to Skybox EDGE, because it puts a lot of things in the tip of your fingers basically as well. Now, at the same time as well, with the subscription, you can also put it to a yearly figure as well, where you get a 16.5% discount. So €300 a year. In Australian dollars, it's probably about $450 and $500 a year. And this is for like the basic 2D replay, the pattern finder, and stuff like that as well. So you can find out who's throwing what nades and whatnot as well. And you can also ascertain the teams that you're versing on their player stats and team stats. You can also upload your demos and have POV demos as well that you can watch of players that you want to learn from in particular. And then Tier 2 and Tier 1 is basically when you want to get a bit more serious into your CS2 as well. But if you don't have a team, as I said before, if you don't have a team, you can go to your normal personal subscription, which is obviously, as I said, obviously a bit cheaper. It is 6 EU. It's 6 EU, basically 6 EU a month, which is basically equivalent of 2 coffees in Australia a month. And obviously it's cheaper as well. You get a discount, be 66, I think it's 60 EU cost for a year of probably a lot more coffees. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed my little advertisement or little sample size of using Skybox GG, Skybox EDGE GG. Also as well, I'll put the Discord in the link below. And also, guys, if you want to use the software as well, hope it helps you out. And I believe overall, I think every euro that you spend on this is definitely worth it. Anyways, guys, have a great day. See you guys later. Bye.